He came to some you don't. It's on.
We will call this meeting to order at 6:34 p.m. We'd like to welcome everyone. This time, we will stand for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. During the moment of silence, we ask that you remember our 10th grade student, GRC student, Miss Elizabeth Walker. We were notified this morning that we lost Miss Walker, and it has been a huge loss for our staff and our students, so please remember her in the days to come. Now the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Review of the agenda and adoption of the agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to change?
We need to, under internal board business, we need to change the wording from first reading to second reading. This is the cannabis policy.
Okay.
And I don't know if we need to wait until we get to the other piece, but I would like for us to consider approving a larger amount to the Veterans Council. Maybe we could have a conversation when we get there, other than $1,000
Yeah, you
more.
can, that doesn't have to be put out. It can
Change.
change.
Okay. And then the other thing I was wondering if, when Mr. Howard speaks, if he could talk to us a little bit about the ADECO, what was it, ADECO?
Said job sharing.
Yeah, it's under the board internal, or the consent items. And I would just like to hear more about it, so everybody can hear about it.
Nothing will need to be changed there. It's just
No.
gonna discuss it. Okay. Anybody else with any changes? Anything they need for? Okay. Not, would anybody like to make a motion with the amendment on the approval of the second reading of policy 09.2242?
I'll move that we approve the minutes from September 24th, 2024, regular.
We're still on the agenda.
Oh, the agenda, sorry. That was the next item. Sorry.
Getting a little ahead of yourself over there, Billy, that's
I
okay.
know. I'm gonna stop them.
Do you want to make a motion to approve the agenda
Yeah, I'll do that.
as amended?
I'll
All
do
right.
my amendment.
Motion by Mr. Bennett,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Hall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now, consider minutes for the September 24th, 2024 meeting. Is somebody not here for that one?
I think everybody was there for the.
Everybody was there.
We were all,
It was just a special meeting.
Oh, okay, is that why we're separated? All right. Anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the September 24th regular meeting?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for September 24th.
Motion by Mr. Bennett,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Simpkins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Approval of minutes for the September 26th working budget meeting minutes. Who up there?
Everybody was there too. It's just a special.
Just that one?
Jennifer,
Oh,
I was not here for that one.
okay,
Oh.
okay.
That was for,
So would anybody other than Jennifer like to make a motion for that one?
yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the September 26th working budget meeting.
All right, motion by Mr. Dorsey,
It is showing me on there, on the form.
Those are the, yeah, the meetings, the minutes are the same for both.
I'll second that motion.
All right, second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay. Okay, approval of minutes for the October 7th special call meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the October 7th special call meeting.
Motion by Ms. Hall,
Second.
second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Okay. Now we are on to Clark County Public School recognitions. Ms. Christie Bush.
Good evening. Tonight we will start with our community member. Tonight we celebrate a collaboration between Clark County Public Schools and our very own Clark County Hospital. Since Mr. Matt Smith has been in Clark County, our students have been able to use the hospital facility for clinical hours in their pursuit to receive their pathway certificates. In the past, students had to travel by bus to Fayette County to receive these hours. This current school year, the hospital has teamed with the Clark County Public Schools to allow students the opportunity to attend any athletic event free. This collaboration helps to make that connection outside of the school walls for students to take part and show school spirit. This evening, please help me in recognizing Clark County Regional Medical Center and Mr. Matt Smith for his generosity, collaboration, and Clark County spirit.
We gotta get a picture. Oh, come on, bud, we're not done. I'm not here before I posing that. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. Recognizing a coach's legacy. A coach's legacy is more than wins and losses. It's about the lives they touched. I'll do this without crying. The lessons they've imprinted on young men and women and their lasting impact on their athletes, their team, and their community. Celebrating the creation of the first Clark County GRC and RDC fishing teams is an honor we bestow and recognize on Mr. Billy Dameron. Over a 10-year span, Billy has grown the program and successfully established it on the map in the fishing world. His students have won numerous college scholarships, opportunities through fishing that they may never have had access to. The amount of time and energy that has grown this program through Billy, you cannot sum up in just a few words. This opportunity has created a lifelong skill and/or hobby for each individual that is passed through the program. Tonight, please help me in honoring Mr. Billy Dameron for his dedication to past, present, and future students of Clark County. You wait just a minute. Little fella,
You
sit
won't,
down.
you won't come on up here, bud? You help us make us look better, for sure. Okay, Bill.
Megan Robinson, a GRC student and varsity bass fishing angler, has competed in the 4-H demonstration contest in the spring. She demonstrated a fishing technique called flipping. I wonder where she learned that from. Megan has won the Clark County 4-H division in natural resources. She advanced to the 4-H local area contest and won the demonstration as well. Megan then advanced to the 4-H state competition where she won first place as well. She also competed for GRC's FFA team and won that state title. Megan has also given the amazing opportunity to present her demonstration in Carter County to a group of Moroccan delegates through the 4-H this fall. So please help me in congratulating and recognizing Miss Megan Robinson.
We good, yeah? I know, include mine on there. Go Carson.
there any public comments? All right, thank you. Student learning and instructional services. Clark County Quality Coalition update.
Good evening, all. So thank you all so much for allowing us an opportunity to come and give you an update from the Equity Coalition. My name is Vashay King. For those who I do not know, I serve as a partner to Donna Carter, who's also here, and the director of Black and Hispanic Achievers. So we always like to start, you can advance, whoever's driving. Okay, one more. We always like to start our conversations with our norms, just making sure that those who are in the room and online, that we operate by our norms. We do that internally and externally with our partnerships. Some of the norms would include going into every situation with a positive intent, being present as much as possible, holding each other accountable, and that's internally and externally. And then also, forgot the last one. Donna, help me out. Mindset of abundance. Thank you. The mindset of abundance. You can advance one. So the three initiatives that I'd like to highlight today are the Courageous Conversations, the Spanish Interpreter Program, and the Black and Hispanic Achievers. First, we'll start with the Courageous Conversations. Greater Clark Foundation had given us a grant of $20,000, and what the Equity Coalition did was held Courageous Conversations to build trust and belonging. Transparency, relationship building, and understanding are vital elements in establishing equity of access within Clark County schools. The Courageous Conversations hosted a series of discussions with four key groups, and that was the parents, the students, teachers and staff, administrators, and the Board of Education. The goal here was to understand the academic and student data. So what we did is we wanted to make sure that the questions that were posed were pretty universal across the board. We sat with each group and came and collected that data towards the end, and I believe presented the initial data to the administration, and from there, I believe our next steps are to have continued conversations and potentially some recommendations going forward. I miss anything? Okay. All right. If you can go one for me, please. The Spanish Interpreter Program. The goals of the co-op is to provide bilingual high school seniors with a skill that can lead to a career and national accreditation as an interpreter. The co-op provides the following: training as a medical interpreter that meets national standards, observation experience in the UK Language Services Department within UK Healthcare System certificate. Once the student graduates high school, that serves as a prerequisite for national accreditation, experience in training and valuable learning that can transfer to various career pathways, and high school credit for participation. There have been 7 participants this year, with 6 successfully completing all program requirements, 1 with the plan to complete. Just today, they had 1 of 2 tours at UK, and we are currently taking the necessary planning steps to host our new cohort for the spring. And if I can add, I think this is the first program nationally here in Clark County. So big kudos. Next slide, please. Our Black and Hispanic Achievers, we held our initial parent meeting on 9/17, which resulted in having 57 students registered, which is right where we were the same time last year, and the average has been the same, about 23 students. For the first session, we did a mental health called Be the Best You, where we invited professional counselors of color to come in and give them practical tools to help them navigate life. Some of the key components that we discussed was bullying. We talked about being overwhelmed in the classroom. We talked about peer pressure and talked about pressures coming from home. We also had a community project initiative with the mayor that was a lot of fun for the achievers, as well as with the fire department and with our police department. In the police department, they did drunk driving simulations. So they can just say no. This Thursday, pretty exciting, we're taking our first college tour to Kentucky State University in Frankfort, where we have 28 achievers signed up. So thank you again to Mr. Howard, to all of our principals, Ms. LaToy, thank you so much for the support that you all continue to give. When we go to K-State, the goal would be to introduce them to college life, and not just introducing them to college life, but so they can understand what academic programs are available. K-State is doing some really big initiatives this year of cutting down costs, so we'll learn a lot about that as well. Some other things that we have planned is doing finances, so we'll be talking about budgeting, saving, and investing. We have some writing, nonverbal and verbal communication seminars, and then we're going to spark some creativity. One would be through the Leeds Theater. That is also going to, will take place in a student performance, and then afterwards we'll have a tour and they'll learn about some programs that are available to students there. Another item that we're going to be doing is we'll take a tour to Berea College next year. And then for spring break this year, we're going to Nashville, where we will visit TSU, Fisk, Meharry Medical College, the African American Music Museum. We'll have a Hispanic forum. We'll also visit the President Andrew Jackson's home, among other things. Then lastly, we'll close with our annual celebration. We also have an opportunity where we are partnering with Ms. Jacqueline Hamilton, who is a professor at EKU, with an Appalachia grant that services Clark County, Montgomery, Bath, and Rowan counties, giving Black and brown girls an opportunity to express themselves through poetry. Any questions? No, thank you.
Instructional spotlight, Ms. Kelly Finn.
We are excited this month to start our instructional spotlights as we started last year. So we're very excited to start that this year with Shear Elementary, and then also we're going to touch base on some type of literacy. Each month we'll touch base on some type of academic instruction area, and so this year we will also discuss literacy at our first one. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Diana Jackson.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share the awesome things that are happening at Shear. Tonight, can we have the, oh, awesome. Tonight I would like to highlight the key benefit for the success for Shear at the moment, small group instruction. And that is occurring across the building, whether it be phonics, math, reading, our resilient learner, empowering leader, where we are looking at conflict resolution and helping students learn to communicate. All of that is happening in small groups. But just to point out just a few things, we want to provide targeted, individualized support to our students, promotes focused instruction and peer collaboration. It enhances learning and manipulative and multisensory tools, and it delivers differentiated content tailored to student needs. So by providing small group instruction, it enables teachers to focus on specific concepts and provides an environment conducive to reteaching concepts and enriching our students. Our big rocks for this year, our focus for this year, strengthening communication, internal and external, engagement and differentiation. So with strengthening communication, we have a commitment to transparency. We give weekly updates to staff, timely updates for families. We plan to give a survey in November to gather feedback on communication effectiveness. Internal communication, we have collaborative decision making. We use an app called Team Reach to communicate with staff internal. We also give weekly updates with a live calendar. External communication, we're using Messenger 2.0, which is a feature of Infinite Campus. We're also having regular parent-teacher conferences and frequent social media updates. We will also be inviting families to come in throughout the year to share feedback and give suggestions on how we can improve with communication. Next is engagement. I'm going to let Mrs. Campbell kind of share how we are supporting our staff and students with cooperative learning.
Hello, everyone. So our Kagan is off to a wonderful start this year. This year we have a second cohort involved with our Kagan coaching, and this really gives our staff a chance to learn and grow along with us. We use that data as an admin leadership team to look and see where our staff may need coaching using these structures, because at the end of the day, we're educating the whole child. The content absolutely is important, but at the end of the day, that social aspect is a big part of that. While technology is awesome, we have lots of phones, lots of engagement that doesn't really happen face-to-face. So Kagan Cooperative Learning is an opportunity for us as adults to grow, but even more importantly, our students, and teaching them how those structures just become a natural part of your learning and your life. It's not just, in the beginning we were really, learning Kagan, but now we're seeing it as a true flow in their learning, which is very, very, very powerful. Our teachers are very responsive to the coaching. Our district leadership has been very supportive with that, also coming in, getting coached, and being able to see that's very powerful when you see your leadership in there with kindergartners doing stand up, hand up, pair up. That's very powerful. So it just makes a big difference in our education of the whole child.
And differentiation is another focus for SHEER. It ensures that all students, regardless of learning styles, abilities, it ensures they have access to high-quality instruction. We also monitor progress throughout the year using our SHEER data drive, FastBridge, RTI data, and we also use peer assessment data. And I would also like to invite you to come and see this firsthand in classrooms, to see engagement and cooperative learning and differentiation in small groups. I also want to give a shout out to the students and staff of SHEER. We've worked extremely hard, and we grew 10.6 points overall on KSA from last year. So we're super excited about where we're headed, and we would love to invite you to come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shark-tastic. See, I'm trying to grow and differentiate myself too. I just put cards all the time.
Hello, my name is Melissa Turner. I am an instructional specialist that works with the elementary schools, and I want to share a little bit about our initiative with OG Coaching. As you know, last year we implemented OG throughout the district in the grades kindergarten through 4th grade. It's a systematic approach to reading, which involves letters and sounds, so that our students can become better readers and writers and spellers. So this year, in addition to what we have already done, we have began OG Coaching. And what this is we have a coach from IMSE who comes into our district and works with our teachers and works with us so that we can better support our teachers in OG. So that coaching began, we did our first round of OG coaching on October 7th and 8th, and it was successful. It was wonderful. We felt like it was very productive, and so we have already scheduled 2 more. We'll be doing another round in December and then another one in March. So we're looking forward to that. When that happens, the coach will come into town. She will stay with us and visit classrooms, observe the OG procedures, and then she will give immediate feedback to the teachers while she's there, and she'll make sure that that they have that feedback and support that they need so that they can improve. So in turn, they can help our students become better readers. Also, that intentional, I just said that, I'm sorry. So also to make sure that we implement OG throughout the district with Fidelity, we have a Fidelity checklist that we will use to check and ensure that that there's congruence and cohesiveness across the district so that all teachers are on the same page and have the same skill set so that we can in turn help our students. Thank you.
That'll be the next one. The next one. We're all
Sending the achievement overview, is that over?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Kelly Pickett.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lindsay Hale. She is going to review our KSA data, really talking and highlighting about a lot of our celebrations and then also our areas for growth. And then we'll talk about next steps from there. So I'm going to ask that Lindsay Hale lead us in that, please.
I'm gonna set this up or I'm gonna blow the speakers out of the fine folks at home. So I'm a little loud. All right, so our student achievement overview. Go ahead, Chris, roll on. All right, next one. All right, so we have several celebrations that we'd like to share with y'all. I think probably one of our top celebrations is our English language learner progress that went up by, this is not a typo, 104.6 points. So, that increase took us from red, which is the lowest color, to blue, which is the highest. I'd like Kent Kugel to please stand and take some applause. And so this is the access test, and it is the English language proficiency test. So it's not math, science, reading, or social studies. It is how do the English learners in our school system navigate the English language through writing, speaking, and so forth. So because our population that is large enough to be counted is solely at Strode Station, this is a Strode Station data point. So again, thank you, Kent, but also Miss Demetria and Ruth Ann, she's here. You guys in Robbie Hill, y'all did a phenomenal job. And so that's a huge celebration. Our kids are doing great, and I think we're going to continue to grow that area. Okay, next. Post-secondary readiness. So these are students that are either academic or career ready. This increased at GRC in Phoenix by 11.1 points with 88 high demand bonuses. So high demand bonus means that they are getting an industry certification in a high demand field, which gives us an extra 0.25 points for that student. So thank you, Luke Toy, Coy Hall, I don't know if he's here, but big jump. Okay, next. Reading and math. So 39 of our 58 subgroups either maintained their scores from last year, increased, or significantly increased. A little bit about subgroups. Those are different groups of demographics. So English learners, white, African American, economically disadvantaged, so on and so forth. Just different ways of breaking down the data into demographic pockets. But out of the 58, 39 of those either maintained or went up. So that's excellent. Next, science, social studies, and writing. 32 of 53 subgroups maintained, increased, or significantly increased. So that's awesome. Next, graduation rates. All 12 subgroups either maintained, increased, or significantly increased. So excellent job. Thank you. That was great. Next. All right, last one. This one's the next one. We're celebrating. These are celebrations. So our last celebration is we had no schools in targeted school improvement status in TSI. So we had one subgroup that was in TSI last year. That subgroup exited, which means they lifted scores beyond the threshold of TSI, and then no new populations were classified this year. So that is excellent. So, yes. All right. So of course we had lots of celebrations. We also have a few areas to concentrate on for growth for the future. Next. All right. So our school climate and safety survey, this is a survey taken by all students in all buildings. Every school either decreased or significantly decreased. We have met with all admin over all of their data, the good, the bad, and there were different reasons in different areas, but these are not, for the most part, significant decreases, but every school did decrease in that area. Next. Our overall change, our overall change is the raw score, which means the sum of the points for novice, apprentice, proficient, distinguished, and so on, plus the change. So if you went up or down, they added that in again. So our average overall change was negative 3.12, with some subgroups as high as negative 41.8. This is not percent, it's points, and it gets real hairy, so I'm just going to keep it brief. But again, not percentages, it's the points by which they calculate the overall status score. Next. Okay, reading and math. So we talked earlier about the ones that maintained, increased, or significantly increased. That left 19 of our 58 subgroups that either declined or significantly declined. Next. Science, social studies, and writing, 21 of the 53 subgroups either declined or significantly declined. Next. Special populations. So we had a negative 20.3 African American average overall points decline across all schools, and a negative 10.4 Hispanic average overall points decline, again, over all schools. That doesn't mean that every school declined in that subgroup or in those subgroups. It just, that was the average overall for the district. Next. Okay, so although we have no schools in TSI this year, it takes 3 years of being below that threshold in any subgroup to re-enter TSI. And 10 of our 52 subgroups are considered pre-TSI, which means they've fallen below that threshold. They've just not done it 3 years in a row yet. We're not going to, knock on wood. But 6 of those subgroups are in their 2nd year of pre-TSI. So we are monitoring those very closely. I think that's our last area of growth. So does anybody have any questions about any of those? All right.
Good job at putting all this together. So
Thank
we can
you.
understand it.
It's a lot of spreadsheets.
Which you love.
I do love a good spreadsheet. All right, thank y'all.
Dr. Hill does a wonderful job at taking all of the data and making it so that it can be understandable, because it is lots and lots of numbers and spreadsheets and data. So thank you very much. We're now going to continue. This is the same slides, if you'll keep going on to the next one, about next steps. So we're going to take the data and then what are we going to do from there. Over the course of last year, we intentionally introduced and focused on the 5 foundations for high quality instruction. And as with all systems and structures, it takes time for each of these foundations to grow and progress into the overall vision that we would like. Tonight, we're going to provide an overview of where we are with each of these. So I'll ask that Allison come up and give the first update on continuous development.
One more. Yeah. So our first foundation is continuous development, and while our staff is required to receive 24 hours of PD, we want to continue to foster that idea of a growth mindset, not only in our students, but also in our staff. We are all working to improve our craft and continuously develop what we're doing. As you can see, we provide many opportunities for our staff to be trained and grow, including our Cardinal Connections Academy, which we just completed our 3rd year of offering this personalized PD for our staff. We have new teacher cohorts where we are able to kind of tailor different information specifically for our new teachers. You'll see those words coaching again. We've already talked about our Orton Gillingham coaching and our Kagan coaching, where we are able to kind of come alongside teachers and give immediate feedback on these initiatives throughout the school year. We have a math focus this year where we were able to train all of our elementary teachers prior to the start of the school year. We have added STEM teachers for the district who are able to offer science support. And we're just continuously working to see how we can add layers to help our teachers grow in what they do, because growing greatness not only happens with our students, but also with our staff.
Okay,
So my name is Amber Murphy, and I'm also an instructional specialist in Clark County. So I want to talk a little bit about congruence and give an update with congruence. So one of our primary goals in Clark County is congruence. So from class to class, looking at learning targets to assessments to standards and learning activities supporting these standards, we want to make sure that we're congruent across the district, elementary schools being congruent with each other, and then alignment in grades 5 through 12. So we are continuing to refine our standards maps in grades K through 12 through professional learning communities, through our elementary leadership group, and we're also continuing to track standards taught across each classroom in our district. We have common assessments from classroom to classroom, all on our assessment platform, which is Pair Assessment. So very data-driven, using the data to inform our decisions within the classroom in these congruence meetings.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Austin, and I'm also an instructional specialist for our district, and I'm going to talk to you about student engagement. And we know that engagement for our students is not simply just turning in a paper. That would be compliance. Engagement is when they are active and they are enthusiastically participating. So with this focus, we have several initiatives. We've mentioned several times the Kagan word. You've heard it several times tonight. And we have that district-wide cooperative learning initiative that we are continuing to support. All of our staff was trained in Kagan last year. All of our new staff this year spent 2 days being Kagan trained, and they will get training throughout the year, plus in addition to our Kagan coaching that will go on throughout the year. We have an emphasis on the components of an ideal lesson. So our observation forms have been drafted to use these components, and it's part of our walkthrough process that we're constantly monitoring the components of an ideal lesson. At our elementaries, we have initiated lower class sizes to help with student engagement. And our biggest part is our student connections. We know that if our students feel valued and have made a connection with at least one person in our building, that's going to increase their engagement in our classroom, which will translate to increasing their proficiency levels. Thank you.
Hey, so it's Abby McCormick, and I have Elizabeth Vallejo, who is our instructional specialist for the Exceptional Children Department, but we worked hand in hand with Kelly and the rest of the instructional specialists. So when we started thinking about differentiation, we were not just thinking about our students, but what do we need to do for our staff? So this summer, we provided very specific professional learning and professional development throughout the year that is specific to each staff. So for example, our EL teachers, our gifted and talented, our different groups within our special education have specific professional learning that's more specified for what they need to help their students become more successful. And we're also continuing that on through our teacher work days. So we'll be pulling those specific groups to really look at their student-specific data. We also have worked diligently with principals and building level facilitators. I know myself, Mr. Kugel, Ms. Kaysen, our gifted and talented coordinator, working on those schedules. So ensuring that our students are getting that tier 1 instruction they need that goes along with the first few pillars that we talked about, but then we providing that differentiation. We also have specific professional learning communities. So not just with the Exceptional Children's Department, but again, I'm going to talk about Mr. Kugel because he's doing a lot more than what he gives himself credit for. But we're all attending those building level PLCs to ensure not that we're just representing our students, but we're ensuring our teachers feel supported within those subgroups and provide the appropriate differentiation. Within the EC department, we are focusing on specially designed instruction through a book study that our district facilitators are doing, and then carrying that on to our building level PLCs. And we also providing specific teacher mentoring, again, to those different groups within, so we can continue to provide support for our students that need the differentiation while we provide our families, our teachers, and our principals with that as well. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it okay.
We're ready to, we're growing. And we're so thankful for that, so thank you.
Okay, our last foundation is the monitoring piece. So as administrators and as leaders in our district, one of our goals is to monitor each of these foundations, each of these initiatives, to ensure that we are really growing greatness across our district. And you'll see on the last slide, we end all of our administrator meetings with this one quote. If you want to experience significant progress toward your goal, you need to be intentional about the work you're doing every day. And that is what we're doing in the academic department, is making sure that we're very intentional on everything that we do across the district. And we're hoping we are growing greatness in both our students and our staff. Thank you.
Update on the construction project for New Clark County Preschool.
I've got Brian Buckner with Ross Tarrant and Mr. Christie here to give you guys an update on the preschool and talk about a couple of the change orders that are on the agenda there.
Hey, I'm Brian Buckner with Ross Tarrant Architects. I think kind of starting off, giving kind of a quick update and overview on where things are on the Clark County Preschool project. Right now, we are over 80% complete on the job at this point, closing on 90%. We are very close to the 2-year mark. I think we're about 2 months out from that at this point, from when construction started, once the VE packaging had been finalized. So at this point, you know, I know Julie and you all have been in the building several times. We were over there yesterday. A lot of the acoustical ceiling tile grid is being installed. The lion's share of the above ceiling work is complete at this point. They're working on interior finishes. We got the first coat of paint over most of the surfaces in the building at this point. The big push right now is making sure that they are prepared and ready to turn on the HVAC system, get the lines flushed, and get the building controlled from a temperature and moisture standpoint so that they can start to move forward with flooring. As you all may have heard with the scheduling at this past progress meeting at the end of September, we had kind of some milestone dates and some milestone activities that needed to be complete by the end of that month in order to maintain the schedule. One of those was that we needed to have all of the ACT grid installed, in place, and ready to drop pads into the building so that additional interior work could commence. The other one that needed to happen was that they really needed to wrap up all of the above ceiling plumbing, above ceiling HVAC work, and start working on getting the lines flushed. So, as it was determined at that last meeting, those milestone dates from the subcontractors had not been met. And so, on top of that, they're tracking weather days over the duration of the project, which amounts to about 70 weather days. I look at John Hagan's email and check, but what that does is effectively push the finish date for the project. Substantial completion moves to January 15th, and then per the contract documents, that moves out to February 14th for final completion. It's a 30-day window there. So right now, based on the conversations that we've been having with John Hagan and all the folks over at Codell, I think that we feel pretty good about the adjustment to that date in terms of them meeting that deadline. They felt like with those weather dates kind of factored in with the project that they could meet that date. I know there's some schedule implications in terms of the calendar year for 2025. I know Brandon and I, we've talked about that, and I think there's some good plans in place to be able to kind of shift some dates around. At the end of the day, I think that giving them that extra bit of time to get things done, I think is going to work out better for everybody. I know it's a shift in when everybody wants to get into the building. I know everybody's really, really excited to get in there. But in doing so, I think we're going to be in a better position to meet that deadline in February and not try to then stretch that out into spring break. We know that's an issue historically with people moving furnishings and things like that to get into a building with staff being out, and certainly not pushing it past that point. So I've had several conversations with John Hagan. They feel comfortable meeting those deadlines. They need to push the subcontractors in order to meet those dates. If there's any other questions about that, I can help to answer. John Hagan's out of town this week, So, you know, if he, maybe next month he can come in and we can talk a little bit more specifics about both the weather days, how those are calculated, and the subcontractor, you know, push to kind of finish things out perfectly. But as it stands right now, they've got the main base coat for all the paving that has now been installed out there on the job site. We're laying down topsoil, so all the site work is a big push right now, getting that under seed, getting the sod installed before the weather turns here at the end of the month. So that's the other kind of critical item in terms of a milestone to hit as well. So we're working through that. We were out there yesterday walking through several of those locations and talking about the plans for seeding and sodding and what areas are going to receive which. So as far as the change order items, there's two on there right now. The first one that you'll notice, to try to explain this best, Old Castle, who is a precast concrete manufacturer, and they make large storm structures, concrete vaults. During the VE process, when some of the site work components were changing, one of their vaults was identified as being part of a purchase order. It had actually been picked up by CKSM, who's the sheet metal contractor on the job. So there's a change order that's written to remove that vault from the purchase order and shift it over to CKSM's contract. It's a net $0 add. It's just moving it from one pot to the other so that we can equalize the purchase orders at the end of the job. The second set of change orders that are on there are for two plumbing items, both under CKSM's contract. One of them was for a sink that was mislabeled on the documents. So it did not get picked up when they were doing the full packaging for the sink installation. And what ended up happening there is they purchased the sink. We had to add in, they were able to tie that sink when it was placed on the outside of the wall into the classroom, able to tie that sink into the existing drain line and tie it into the existing vent line. So since we were able to do that, it certainly saved a lot of additional costs. That would have been an item that, after the slab had been poured, if it was discovered after that point, there would have been a large increase in cost to try to get that back in, cut through the concrete. But luckily, because of the amount of sinks and the amount of fixtures that we have in the preschool, we had routing that was directly available for it. The second item on there is for a drain of the can wash. So this was a miss between the plumbing documentation and the site documentation. They thought each one, had picked up, didn't get picked up in the contract. So it required a specification to be issued for the can wash drain and tying it into the closest sanitary sewer line. So the can wash, because you're washing out trash cans and things like that, gets a lot of gunk in there. It needs to be tied to the sanitary rather than a storm line, for instance, like we would for a lot of gutters and downspouts on the project. So.
When is y'all's next construction meeting?
End of this month.
Mr. Christie, do you want to talk to him about some of the interior finishes that be going on, like the cabinets and things like that?
Yeah, like Brian said, the cabinets are going in, all the cabinets are on site. I will say to you, there is a sense of urgency out there now. Yeah, that's been conveyed to all the contractors there. So there is a sense of urgency. They brought additional people in. We're starting to see it push like you always see at the end of the job. I felt like it should have started 2 months ago. It's there now. So there's extra people. It is moving quickly now. There are people that are installing cabinets in every quarter of the building, in every student section. Those are going in quickly. They're nice too, by the way. The storefront, that's all the glass front, that's the only part of the building that's not completely enclosed in right now. The storefront, it should be delivered Wednesday, tomorrow or Thursday it'll be here, and hopefully by the end of next week that building can be closed in. And we got to talk to Tony about we got the construction floors, I guess, lock it up. We need to get it under lock and key now. That's the next thing that needs to happen. We got a call last night, we have about 13 kids in the building. So it's getting to the point now, far enough finished that we really need to get the building secured. The asphalt, he mentioned, it's scheduled, the finish coat of asphalt, that's right, it's scheduled for the first week of November. The covered canopy, that's been delayed as one of the last things because that's part of the value engineer piece and it's been put back in. It's being manufactured. We've got the specs and everything on that today, as a matter of fact. So tomorrow we'll start locating where the posts go for those, and we held up on the sidewalks in that corner of the building. We got that, so now they can go on, they can mark those and start making places for those posts for that when it does come in. Earthwork, all the earthwork out there should be finished by the end of next week, maybe sooner. And it looks like we got 10 days of really nice weather coming up, so they should be finished up. He was talking about the package with the landscape package. I think there's an opportunity there to save a substantial amount of money for the district. Do something a little different, come away from what you had and that added, and maybe back off that. And a great opportunity, like we were talking about, to work with the high school and the program out there, and maybe trying to send some of that towards the high school, and those kids do a lot of your work there. And maybe that doesn't all get done before the start of school. Maybe that has to come, most of that has to come in the spring. And I think we come to the agreement to do all the sod up next to the building, so the building will look complete. Get any shrubs and things like that, landscaping and trees. That'd be a great way to incorporate your students into something like that. Tiles in all the bathrooms, and all the bathrooms, I think it's just got completed. So in all the classrooms, they're working their way now into the main bathroom, or the big bathroom, the gang bathroom in the center of the building. Very colorful. I'll give you credit there. You pick some colors, some really nice colors. I think every bathroom in the building, everywhere there was tile, there's at least 6 different colors. Tile guys are going nuts. It looks nice. It looks nice. Trying to think, we're hopeful to get, like he said, get water flushed, get everything flushed out, maybe get the building temperature controlled. That's key. I'm a little concerned about cabinets going in without controlled temperature in that building and still being exposed. So hopefully we can get that done pretty quickly.
Is it just the front, or is it the doors to the sides too that are not included? What's not?
We've got the hardware, the hard doors are there, it's just the glass work. So in
Okay.
the front entry, where you come in at the front of the building, and then in the back where you come off the playground of the building, that's the glass entry there. And then when I say the storefront, that's all the glass work in the corner of the building right there where the parent drop-off is. And once they do that, that'll include those other 2 doors. So once they get that done, hopefully within the next week, that building can be completely secure.
What time is your meeting? I didn't ask you that, so.
10 o'clock.
Okay. Can you all keep Mr. Dorsey in the loop on that too? I think. Yeah, when they are, can you?
We've been meeting the last Thursday of each month. Now I think we're gonna go to 2 meetings a month.
We've already started.
Yeah.
2 meetings a month?
Maybe 2 meetings a month.
We had our first meeting.
Can you explain the weather days a little more?
This is the second one, the second Thursday, second, fourth Thursday.
Well, the last meeting that we had was on Wednesday.
Or do you do like a virtual partial and then?
We don't, but I could set something up if you're interested in attending. I could patch you in through my own computer too,
Yeah,
if
we
you
can-
wanted to sit in on that. If John, Austin could do as well out there for job site. So
I think we were always kind of caught off guard with the 75 weather days. Didn't see that one coming.
And 10 days in there because of KU, and the emergency situation with the storms that came through, and it delayed the turn on of the final inspection 10 days.
Yeah. But I mean, it just, that one caught, I think, every one of us. So, construction wise, he tends to know a little more than I would.
You should be
Ms. Hall may
at a
attend
point
too.
now where weather there shouldn't be anymore. Unless there's some sort of emergency, weather emergency.
the critical item is making sure that the topsoil that's being put down now, we've got big, like, as Paul mentioned, there's a big stretch of good weather days coming up. Once erosion control is put in place through seeding, the hydro seeding, sod, that will allow that to be able to weather any additional rain events and things like that without having it get washed out. Big concern at this point is that if you had a big rain event and started to strip the topsoil that got put in place, they have to come back out and do everything.
So are we saying weather days was rain? 'Cause I didn't think, that was the biggest problem, is we worked with rain.
Rain, snow, freezing temperatures. It just depends. It depends on the work that's occurring at the time they claim a weather bin. So, anything that is, well below freezing impacts concrete work. We know that we had concrete work, roof work happening during, right in the middle of winter over the past, close to 2 years. Any adverse weather events that include a lot of rain, I mean, that's typically the issue from anything involving the site. On this particular job, we had a longer stretch of site work than is typically involved for a school project, just based on the site, the karst topography out there. So having a lot of rain will definitely affect the site work that can occur out there. So I think that was part of it. There's a big kind of push there, but again, it's been almost 2 years worth of construction at this point, and so you're certainly liable to rack up some other days there during that process.
Sorry, Ms. Dorr.
No, it just seems like we would have heard about these weather days before now.
I honestly thought that you were getting that information. I'll make sure that
Yeah.
I'll get that, I'll track that too. I wasn't tracking the weather, and I thought you were getting that monthly report.
A monthly report from where?
Big construction manager.
Okay. Maybe we have. Maybe I just haven't seen it. I don't know. Mrs. Blanton, do you have any questions or any concerns? No. Okay.
I go out there quite often.
I know you do. That's why I'm asking you, because you probably know as much as anyone.
I went out Monday and we walked and had a lot of conversations.
Okay.
I feel like everything that we have concerns are getting addressed when we bring them to their attention.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I know that you're out there and you know what's going on. So.
We've had several staff, all the staff have been through the building at least
All
once.
staff has.
We're starting the second round with all the staff going through the thing, being acclimated to the building.
I know you said you were gonna be out there later this week to see your Thursday, Friday. I'll get with you.
Yeah, just let me know what time works.
I think I'm gonna be working over here, maybe both those days, so hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. The classrooms are starting to come together, some of them where they're installing cabinets. You're starting to see some color on the walls, some tile in the bathrooms. So I mean, it's starting to come along and really take shape and really look good. We walked around quite a bit the other day and talked about some playground and landscaping and, all of that good stuff. So we're super excited about it. I think we're all a little bit, and I've been going to the monthly construction meetings, and we're all, and asking every month, are we on target? And we were up until last month. So I think we're all a little surprised about that, but, if a few more days, another month is what we need to, make it as great as we can, and we'll persevere through it. And we just have to make adjustments for planning and stuff on our end, because we've got furniture coming, and there's just a lot of logistics involved. But we're prepared and making those plans for a smooth transition.
If the board wants, we can give it another update at the 12th, November 12th.
Yes.
And that'll allow you guys to walk through the building if you want to this week. Allow for Mr. Dorsey or anyone else that wants to attend the October 31st construction meeting. And then if you want to have some other folks here and answer some questions.
Brandon has my phone number, probably some of y'all have it already too. I know Mr. Howard does. Just give me a call. I'll be glad to take you through anytime. If it works better for you to go after hours, that's okay. Before dark, preferably.
Yeah.
I'll take you too. I'll go.
Yeah, I won't be able to go this week. I'd like to see if there's an opportunity next week. I have too many things on my schedule this week, so.
During the day is a problem for anybody. We schedule, we do that in the evening after hours after construction. They're staying later.
Okay.
What are we doing with your all's calendar? Are we changing that? Didn't you have a move-in date set?
We did.
I think the plan is to come back at the November meeting with a proposal for you all for that, yes.
And that way we don't not have school to move if we're not moving. And so I think we're kind of going to go to that construction meeting and see where we're at and then adjust. So what you'll probably see more than likely is a modified calendar for preschool alone. And we're trying to do that by November 12th so that we can get that information, not just to staff, but to our families. We were going to have to adjust childcare from being out at a certain time to maybe being out at a different time later. We want to be good stewards and communicate those as quickly as possible.
It looks amazing though.
Oh, sorry.
I walked through it yesterday, and Coach was seeing the cabinets in the classroom, you can start seeing it and envision it, like you thought about it, but now it's real.
There's one classroom where the cabinets are all complete, and we did one room complete, so that as a mock-up, to go through and see if we could find, locate any kind of problems that would be building wide.
So are we doing any type of security? We don't need kids out there making mess?
We have cameras on.
We do,
out there.
okay.
We got a call, we knew the kids were there
Okay,
very shortly after they got there. They
okay.
left pretty quick. They left.
I got a call too.
Okay.
Yeah, the police are monitoring that, so we.
That's right.
the police
That's
are
right.
Monitored live by the police and can be recorded.
I can also plan to share photos in a PowerPoint format at the next board meeting as well, if you all like to see some interior images for those that may not be able to make it out between now and then.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of asked Mr. Dorsey to add another thing to his plate, because he understands more and come back and send us some messages too, and fill us all in and break it down for this But you might have bored me with something else.
Never. Slows down this time of year.
Yeah. Any more questions or concerns or anything else? All right. Then we are on the consider approval of change order 16-01.
I'll motion to approve the change order 16-01. Change order 1601.
I don't think so, does he?
No.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Dorsey,
Second.
second by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval of change order 16-2.
I make a motion to approve change order 16-2.
Motion by Ms. Hall,
Also.
second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Anybody want to go back?
I hate making this wet and Mr. Yates wait. So they're after ships. Do you have to go to the restroom?
Yes. Oh, sorry, Alicia.
All right,
I mean, you guys can. No, that's, we'll just do a 5-minute. Will that work for everybody? Just a 5-minute break?
Yeah, that's it. Let's have.
Okay. 5 minutes.
Ready for the numbers.
Since she waited to come in and everything, just give it. Back in session at 7:46. So go for it, Ms. Alicia.
All right. So in looking at our revenues and expenditures compared to this time last year, we are up 2% in revenue collections and we're up 1% in expenditures. So we're still doing really good and following kind of our pattern for collections. We still, as of September, had not collected any property taxes. However, we have already received the October check, and with that, we are at 10% collections. So, and then our motor vehicles with the new check is at 20%. So we got those after the September, so those will be reflected in the October numbers. But so we are doing good on our collections. We're taxes where they should be at this point in the year. So still a whole lot going on right now at this point in the year. Any questions on any of that stuff?
No, thank you. Authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable.
I make a motion to authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable.
Motion by Ms. Hall. Second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval to escrow Ket's first offer of assistance for fiscal year 2025.
So KETS will give us 2 offers during the year. This is our first year, and this is what funds Mr. Cason's technology budget. What we talk about KETS and funds a lot of our the Chromebook match and several other initiatives that we do technology. So we are a cycle behind. So this will be his budget for next year when we receive the second offer. That's his budget when you're in for that. So. And then you all match that dollar amount.
I'll make the motion to approve escrow to KETS. First offer of assistance for 2025.
Motion by Mr. Bennett.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Alicia. Consider approval of $1,000 to the Veterans Council for World War II Korean War Project. Mr. Witt.
Thank you for giving us audience tonight. I'm Chuck Witt, Vice President of the Clark County Veterans Council. With me tonight is Greg Yates. I'm sure you all know Greg. He's the Secretary Treasurer of the Veterans Council. I can discuss with you the physical aspects of the memorial that we're in the process of building right now. But with your permission, after that, I'll turn it over to Greg, and he can talk with you about our fundraising and our financial situation. This project has been in progress for about 20 years. The design was originally accepted about 20 years ago, and then we began fundraising, and things kind of just went awry. I'm not exactly sure why, but for a long period we were not really active. At one point we had a 1 year, $1 a year lease with the old Clark County Bank for the site at the corner of Maple Street and Lexington Avenue, where we were originally going to build this project. And of course that fell through when CVS bought that property, and we no longer had a site. So about 2.5 years ago, we had a subcommittee which went around the community and we investigated about 20 different sites for this project. One of our criteria was that we needed to get it free because we didn't have money at that time to buy a site. So obviously that cut down on the access. But finally, by circumstance, the Cartwright building on East Broadway had catastrophic collapse and was subsequently demolished. And last August of '23, we went to the city and requested that they dedicate that site for this memorial, which they did. And that site is valued at about $250,000. So we were very fortunate to have a site where we could get this project started. If you'll show some of the photos, I'll try to explain some of the items that we've got going on. This is a photo taken recently. The site's under construction right now. The curved wall that you see and the plaza are completed. There's a flagpole base right in the middle. Let's see if I can spot that for you right. Well, it's not showing up. Okay.
That one did, that one did.
Huh?
That one showed up.
Was it showing up on
Yeah.
there? No?
You got the point on it.
You should point, there's the flagpole base right in the middle. And on each end are two pedestals, and I'll explain those in a moment. The flagpole is up right now. We wanted to get it up, and flags up and lighted during construction so people would understand that we're doing something. Let's leave it there for a moment. The two curved walls that you see, the one on the left is the World War II wall. And each of the one on the right is for Korean War, and each of those walls is, the length of the wall is appropriate to the number of days of each of those conflicts. And the fronts of the walls will be engraved. There'll be, the concrete walls will be faced with limestone. The limestone is engraved. And on the left wall, it says World War II, December 7, 1941 to September 2, 1945. And the wall on the right says Korean War, June 25th, 1950 to July 27th, 1953. All of the little white markers you see out in the green area are 96 individuals who gave their lives during those two wars from Clark County, 19 in Korea and 77 in World War II. And I'm not sure how many of you realize there is a Medal of Honor recipient buried in the Winchester Cemetery here. And his name will be in one of those plaques. Each of the plaques has the name, the rank, the unit, the date on which that individual died, and the location where he died, as well as a number. And the number is associated with, let me see if I can show you over here, a number on each of these plaques. These are 12 by 12 granite plaques set flush in the ground. The number will have a corresponding number on the map, which is on each of the pedestals, one for Korea, one for World War II. And you can go to that map, spot that number, and that individual it will show you where he died during that conflict. There's 7 trees representing a total of 7 years of war. The sidewalk that you see going into the site will be paved with engraved memorial bricks. And we've sold about 180 of those thus far. And I think that about covers it. I'm going to let, with your permission, I'll let Greg come up and talk with you a little bit about financing, unless you have some questions.
I have a question. As far as the granite stones, is there still going to be, with that site, is there still going to be enough space for everything to fit in there? Like in where at the site where the picture is now? Like where it exists now? As far as the trees, is everything still?
Oh, you mean is the site large enough?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely fits on the site, yeah.
In fact, if I may, I met today with Chuck, and he told me how I was on vacation last week. He said they had a meeting last week, we had a meeting and I wasn't there, but the city's even talking about renaming this park at some point and then taking the Doughboy statue and the Vietnam Memorial statue that are now located behind the courthouse and moving them to this location. So it becomes an all-encompassing, I think you said my Veterans Park, probably appropriate name. The other thing he didn't mention, I want to mention before I get into the finances, and this is one reason I wanted to be here, because you all know I do work with the schools, in the schools. I see this as a site that from now to all of us are gone through eternity, school kids can go take field trips there. He explained to me in a D-Burst one time, and I did not know this, this is all his doing, he's a very smart gentleman, by the way, but he will have a piece of paper that I, as a veteran, or Latoya here is Tanya, I'm sorry, as an individual or a school teacher, will be able to stand there with kids and go, this is how this site is laid out. I mean, some of the stuff he explained to you, they'd be able to do that for school kids and the significance of World War II and Korea War. And I think that's would lend itself to his educational purpose. And that was sort of my thought process, I think, when I talked to Mr. Howard a few months ago about us trying to get y'all to have some skin in the teeth, if you will, or teeth in this project. He mentioned finances. I'm not going into a lot of detail. I will tell you that we've had numerous individuals make donations. We've had a family donate something like $6,000 to pay for that flagpole. We've had 3 banks donate a couple of thousand each. The Baker flag team, your Baker Intermediate flag team that's in that picture right there, I guess, they paid for a bench, $2,500. That's 2.5 times more than on your agenda that you're thinking about giving tonight. $2,500 they raised in like 2 weeks for a bench. We've had Rotary Club has bought a bench, the Marine Corps League has bought 2 of them, and a couple other individuals have bought some. He already mentioned the city lot. The big grant we got that really got us going was the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs gave us a $100,000 grant about a year ago, and I mean, that really got us going in motion. He's got somebody helping him now, putting in for a grant with T-Mobile, I think it was. We didn't get it the first time, we were gonna try again. We've been really trying to get the community though involved, the different businesses, like in the industrial park, that kind of thing. Physical court, we did go through their grant process and got $2,500. And like he said, we're trying to sell the memorial bricks. I've not got an accurate count. He said 180, so I think that means we could still sell another 820 or something like that. That's $82,000 we could raise if we could have that many individuals in this town that would buy some $100 bricks. And it doesn't have to be, most of them we're getting are people for people that they're buying it in honor of someone who served in the military. It doesn't have to be. This gentleman bought one for his departed wife. That's sort of a misnomer that it has to be someone in the military. I did buy one for my dad who's never lived here. And my father-in-law was from Fayette County, but I bought him a brick. I mean, it can be for anybody. You think you mentioned you having someone in your family that's.
My grandfather
Yeah.
fought in World War II.
And so those bricks we didn't bring it tonight, but it's a nice memorial brick that'll have you can put whatever you want on it, but most people are putting their name, rank. If they know the year they served in the military, some are doing that, but most of them are just putting the year they were born, the year they passed, and like USMC or US Navy or US Army, that kind of thing. So anyways, we definitely need to get the community involved with this, and I just think you all need to look at it more from the educational point of view, that I could see a busload of 3rd, 4th, 5th grade kids going down there and spending 30 minutes or an hour, somebody explaining what this means to all of us as a nation, making them better citizens. Y'all got any questions? Thank you for your time.
What do you, like, as far as lagging totally, do you have any idea of how far off you are?
I think we're sitting at about 100,000.
Like off,
yeah, but we're still trying to, I know at one time it was a little bit more than that, but I may be a little bit behind on that, but I think that would finally do it. And we've had some other talks with the city about, how to finish it, but we're trying to keep the community involved as much as possible. We're hoping to be able to dedicate it by December the 7th now. We're shooting for Veterans Day, but we're not gonna make it. So like your preschool, we're delays. You gotta get stuff ordered, it takes a while to get here, and we got stuff being shipped this week, right, or next? I gotta cut a check for $10,000 for it.
We even contacted the South Korean embassy recently.
Oh, yeah.
One of our members toured Washington DC and found out by word of mouth that the South Koreans funded the last $300,000 for the Korean War Memorial in Washington. So I sent a letter to the South Korean embassy, frankly asking them for money, so we're waiting to hear back from them. I think it'd be ironic to have the Korean government help fund this.
Where did you all come up with $2,000, Justin?
We just wanted to put something down, to give it in front of you and have them present and, have a conversation about what.
So we could technically do more?
Absolutely.
Like, I guess we need
Is
to
that
ask
something that we
Alicia
need to
that.
get?
I was looking at our finance officer. I mean, I agree with Mr. Witt. I think that's something that, well, Mr. Yates, I guess, that kids will be going to for years to come. I would like to donate significantly more money than $1,000, personally. If Alicia gives us the okay.
It's not in the budget, but, I mean, you all have seen our revenue sources for this year have come in higher than we initially planned because we are very conservative in budgeting. So we have seen a significant increase in revenue for what was
So
planned.
if I throw out a number, could you tell me what you think?
Yes.
You look really scared.
I'm a little scared.
Hey, I never give money, you know that. I'm always like, no. I mean, I would like to do like 10,000.
I think we can handle that, if that's what the board wishes.
Dustin's about to fall
No,
over because I never, that's not usually my. but
I'm just surprised because that's the number I had, so.
Yeah, I think,
I would feel very comfortable with that. I think we're talking about connecting with our kids, our staff, and our community. And I don't want to be a guy that just talks about it. I want to be about it, and I would be very supportive.
And I was talking with my mom, and I have a great uncle who not only was he in World War II, so he went to there, then he went into the Korean War and he was killed in action. So, and his brother was on the school board in the 1960s. And so that is, you know, I'm lifelong, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I think all of us are lifelong residents, so I think that is.
If I may,
Yeah.
Chuck just reminded me, we're gonna have, at some point when this is done, like you see on some places, it'll have, well, even your schools, you'll have like a bronze plaque.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have one, and we come up with a military thing. 1-star level is $1,000, 2 stars, $2,500, 3 stars, $5,000, 4 stars, $10,000. So if you do what you're saying right now, you'll be the only one sitting up at the 4-star level on that plaque for all eternity.
well, I mean, I just think that that's something that kids can benefit from. I think they need to see this. I think that's something I would want my child to see and know about, and which, I mean, he loves social studies and he's very much into reading on the wars and knowing about everything. I'm in favor of $10,000 personally.
I would second that, so I don't know how other people feel.
Hey, if we can afford it, I think we should. I mean, if we can do that amount, you know, as a veteran, I would say, yes. No wars, but, you know,
Right.
yeah.
I'm waiting on you all to make motion second and vote.
I'll make a motion that we approve $10,000 to the Veterans Council for the World War II or Korean War project.
I may have second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Opposed?
The celebration
Motion carries
rate.
5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for, and
Sorry
thank
you
you
all had
for
to
waiting.
wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for waiting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Okay. Consider approval of second reading of policy 09.2242.
This is the policy that talks about no cannabis on campus.
That's correct. So we had already done the first reading, but it takes 2 readings because it's a policy. And I don't think you guys had any questions previously about kind of the decision, but again, because it's a policy, we have to have a second reading.
I make a motion to approve the second reading of policy 09.2242.
I'll second.
And the minutes will need to reflect that that was a no.
I know
Yeah.
that we are not,
I think the exact
We do
wording is
not want-
Approving the second
prohibits the
reading
use.
and the responses
Okay. So that, you made that motion, right, Dora? Is that what you just did? Okay.
I meant to, yes.
Okay.
If I don't know if I said it out loud or not, but.
Motion by Ms., well, that's, yeah, I think you did too.
Yeah.
She did. Okay, that's what I thought she did, but then I was like, did I space out and she didn't?
You seconded, I think.
Did you
Yeah, I
second,
seconded,
Billy?
yeah.
Gosh, I really did space out. All right, second by Mr. Bennett, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Phew. All right, superintendent's report.
All right, just want to highlight a couple of things that we've been working on and events to come.
No.
So first and foremost, I've kind of handed out a couple different documents. We continue our work with the Portrait of a Learner. Let me know when you guys are. Sorry. No, I just don't want to go on.
We are failing over here.
It's been a long day. So if anyone here wants a copy, I do have some extras you can look at, but I know tonight we reviewed the KSA testing data. I want to reiterate, that's one day and a snapshot of our students in our district. And I do not feel that any one-day test assessment defines people as red, blue, orange, yellow, or anything in between. I think what we're trying to do here in Clark County is not only have students that are on grade level, which a lot of those scores aren't grade level, they're not percentages, they're not any of that. They're a calculus equation that people put in. What I don't want to find our kids on is a calculus equation. What I am comfortable with is a portrait of a learner and competencies that are going to give our kids skill sets to not only compete in a global society, but win in the game of life. So we have done work. We also want to give out a special kind of shout out to Halls on the River. They've worked with us on a Hall Scholar program. So last month, we really focused on what it is to be an empowered leader. We actually had students and staff recognized, celebrated. We taught curriculum based on from pre-K to grade 12. What does this look like, right? So that we can give our kids those skill sets. We're moving to Resilient Learner now. I sent you guys a video, kind of PRing it, what it means in Clark County. As we go along each month, we'll kind of move down our list to effective communicator, reflective innovator, engaged citizen, and a committed collaborator. Luckily, the state of Kentucky is working on a new accountability system that is going to encompass a local assessment portion, what that looks like. For us, when we get there, we're ahead of the game because this is how we're going to measure how we're doing. Do our kids have these skill sets? Along with, can they read and write and do math and science and such? The other thing is our vision and mission work is going to be reflective of that. I want to thank the folks that came to our community connection event. We kind of gave one last look about growing greatness, and I know we've heard some folks talk about growing greatness this evening. Our vision is connecting to the district and the community. One agenda item ago, we just talked about this. As one, to grow greatness in all of our students. And our path to greatness is through this Portrait of a Learner. So again, we continue to work on this. Speaking of data days and going over data, we do have a teacher work day coming up on November the 4th. It's a Monday, right before Election Day. We are out of school on Election Day. Big shout out to Mr. Watkins working with Michelle Turner's office. I talked to her this morning. I checked on her. And election is going to run smoothly in our building, so I'm also excited about that. Again, getting back to veterans, we do have veterans programs in pretty much all of our buildings. I gave you guys a handout. We also sent that information to all of our community. I encourage board members to get to as many as you can. We've strategically scheduled it out over multiple days, so we don't have as many conflicts this year. Specifically with our 3 big schools are on 3 different days. So a lot of times, those are the families that have to choose between going to one program or another. So there's very much, I want you guys to appreciate the intentionality with how we're trying to roll this out and plan it, so we can celebrate all over the district. The last, I think, event is on November 12th. That's at the high school. Again, we want to encourage all of our community to come out. Don't worry about if we have enough food, we'll feed people, we'll celebrate, we'll give awards, we'll showcase our kids. A lot of our programs, the spirit of Veterans Day in schools is to have the kids do the program. So you're not gonna see a bunch of adults necessarily up there talking. I know at RDC was one of my favorite days because we would have the band, orchestra, choir, even the speakers were our students. Because I think it's important, along with understanding our portrait of learner, is to make sure our kids understand what it means to be selfless. In a world that is so selfish at times, we witness our veterans do something for everyone else, even when it may not be beneficial for them. And they protect us and give us the rights and freedoms we have. And I'm very thankful for their selflessness. And I want them, as in our kids, to understand what that means. And that's something that I will pound as far as something I hold near and dear to me. So, as far as the last thing I want to talk about is our partnership with ADECO. It is a wonderful way for us to get our kids on workforce job sites, to get them to be workforce ready. There's a new component, there's a new way we can work our internships and co-ops, that if you get a certain number of hours in, and ADECO is helping us with getting kids on job sites. So super pumped with Ms. Bishop, Susan and ADECO have been great partners with us. We had them a couple months ago to kind of celebrate our connection with them, their connection with our kids and our community. So that is what that MOU is highlighting. So unless you have any burning questions, that's the highlight.
I just wanted to make sure we talked about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And we're open, we don't pick and choose. So if you want to partner with us, the answer will be yes. Whether if we knocked on your door or not, we're going to grow greatness together. And we need partners and to expand those partnerships. So any ideas that you guys have to expand them, I'm Dustin.Howard@clark.kyschools.us, or you can call one of these fabulous people here at 859-744-4545. All right, it's on public record. That's how you get a hold of us or stop by. I think that's the right number.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Would anybody like to make on that note, a motion to approve the consent items?
Okay. Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Motion by Mr. Bennett,
Second.
second by Ms. Simpkins. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Dorsey.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Second by
Give
Ms.
it- give it to-
Whoever wants you to do.
Second by Ms. Hall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned at 8:15.